What mistakes were you making with women in your younger years?
So many. And that's how we got good, right? Is that we make all the mistakes and we learn from it. Um, I mean, obviously, like the biggest one is always, I think, for a lot of guys, believing sort of like the mainstream dating advice. If you're nice to girls, if you do all the socially acceptable things, because I was raised in a very, traditional Asian household, like, you go to school, make good grades, get a good college degree, get a good high-paying job, buy a luxury car, and have a nice place, then women are just going to automatically fall into your lap. And I realized that once I got into the real world, being an aerospace engineer, like, nope, that's not the reality. You actually have to put in effort. Um, so, believing sort of like that hype, so to speak, but also just building enough emotional resilience such that when you're someone that's highly technical and analytical, and you're used to making like sort of like straight A's in school or something like that, the idea of failing your way into success is not something that comes naturally. But the reality is, at this point in my life, I realize I can make like 49% mistakes with a girl. And so long as I do 51% things right, I can still get her. Like, I can fail my way into success, and that's completely fine. So failure isn't something that I try to avoid. It's like I'll embrace it, I can act the way I want, be as stupid if I so choose or make any kind of mistakes. But so long as I'm progressing it forward and not caring about if I'm awkward or if I'm feeling or doing something stupid, then that can lead to success at the end of the night.
Or in your perspectives?
I
Um,
could tell you the biggest mistake I made looking back. It took me a long time to fully understand just how sexual women are.
oh, so thinking that they're all sugar and spice, everything nice, but they're actually really dark, horny,
Well,
extremely sexual characters.
not dark, but that they have very powerful erotic feelings, and they're very not all of them are tuned into them, but I was much too tentative and shy and didn't fully understand how intensely sexual a lot of young women are. Just I just didn't get it. I was going way slower and more tentatively than they were. Looking back, I think of all the women I should have been more sexually aggressive with.
Yeah, like
Uh,
especially like Gen Z girls nowadays. I think I'm trying to remember the study, but I think Gen Z girls have watched more porn than I did when I was growing up. Like whenever I'm like talking to a Gen Z girl, like they're so much more familiar with all the different types of kinks and sexual fantasies. Like when I was in New York, I pulled with my student like these two college girls, and I was like, "Oh, what's your kinks?" It's like, "Oh, I like to be choked." Like I don't think I've met a single Gen Z early 20 something girl that has not told me that she likes to be choke fucked. Like it's crazy, right? So definitely I think Gen Z girls are even more sexual than, those of us of like the Gen X and previous generations.
I think they've always been that way. I think that just the way culture is now, it's more acceptable to explore, express, and just own what that is. Like if you guys mess around on X at all,
Yeah.
like it gets very real and very sexual, very fetish and kinky very quickly if you wanted to. All kinds of just very easy to get into conversations, which can lead to other things. Just almost within like an hour.
You doing
Oh,
subreddit game too?
that's funny. Reddit, no, no, but X is it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Uh, so the two biggest mistakes, number one, we were talking about breaking rapport before. So it's seeking rapport. So when women, oh, this trope that nice guys finish last or nice guy girls don't like nice guys or whatever. What they don't like is a man who does not set boundaries and is easily manipulated. And so what I found, the thing that I found was, you know, kind of putting up with bad behavior in order to, because I really wanted the girl to like me. And then not realizing that the more I did that, the less she would respect me in the long run. And then being the first guy, like my ex-girlfriend is like this, you know, 23-year-old world champion bikini model. And I was the first guy to ever tell her no to anything. And so because I was able to maintain those boundaries, that was a break in rapport. And that was something I didn't understand before. I was seeking rapport with women. And then the other thing I will tell you is logistics are everything. They just really are, like you don't have, if you were with me and it was like 7 girls for every guy, you just don't really have to worry about game that much, because you do nothing and then they're just competing with each other for your attention. And that's kind of like the best place to be. That's why I live here.
And
I'd
that's
say
in
that
Las Vegas.
That's Las Vegas. Yeah.
I'd say my probably the biggest mistake or the biggest thing that I've learned from the mistakes is that it's all about me. Like my mentors have said that the game has nothing to do with women, that it has everything to do with yourself. And when I realized that it really has everything to do with me, my thinking patterns, my beliefs about myself, you know, what's important to me, my values, like I said before, my codes, principles, and rules, everything about me, that really determines all of the outcomes. And when I was, you know, obviously younger and starting out, I was thinking, oh, if I change the external, then it will change the internal, right? It's that whole like do, have, be, instead of it should be have, do, right? So your being will change your doing. And I was thinking, oh, if I do all this stuff, then I will become the person that I want to be. And really it's the other way around. And that was the biggest mistake that I was making, because I was spending way too much time thinking that doing is going to make me the guy, when really becoming the guy creates the correct doing.